up guys, today we are going to be doing yet another exciting project, and it's going to be a Hangman game. And inside this video we are going to be using arrays / pointers and classes, most importantly classes with files, a new subject that we have not covered yet. So welcome back to my channel, and why don't we get right started. So now that we're inside our Replit, why don't we get right started? Okay, so let's create a new REPL and let's put in C++ as a template. And the title is going to be Hangman. Why not? Hangman. And why don't we get right started then? Okay, so now that we're here, why don't we get right started to the basis? What are we going to do? Well, what's the plan? My plan is we use a header file, which I have not yet learned, where we store all of our data, and then we will put in that header file a class, and we'll define many variables in them, and many functions, and many constructors. So then we'll use them in a separated file to define them, and then when we define them, we'll use them in finally our main.cpp to use them for our project. Right, okay, so let's quickly just delete this line, and let's just say using namespace std. Oh shoot. Using namespace std. Okay. Oh. Namespace. Perfect. Okay. So using namespace std, and now let's here open files, and let's create a new file. Okay, new file. What should we call it? Let's say, so at the end, now we're learning a new thing here. So at the end, we have to have always.h to represent the header file. So what should we call a header file? Let's call it Hangman. It was a good practice to be able to write that way. Hangman, the name of our class. When we don't have a class, when we're working on a class, usually on the header, if we have like a specific class, then we'll put the name of the class. Just some industry standard, but also it depends on your style, guys. It's really just an industry standard. Basically means that a lot of coders usually use this style. So yeah, so let's include iOS. So here in the header file, we're just going to be adding all of the code. We're not going to define it. We're going to make it, but not define it. All right. So let's just put that in live stream. Right, that's it. And now let's just say class. What's the name of our class? Hangman. Always a good idea to put Hangman because that's the name of our project, right? Okay, Hangman. And in this Hangman, we're gonna put all of our data. Don't forget to semicolon, colon. And now let's add all of the variables that we need. So we'll need a string hidden word. Oh, sorry guys, I forgot to put using namespace. Now I'm really just preferring to do using namespace because I got more used to it, and more people in the industry does this. So it's more for industry standard. It's a good practice. Anyways, std. Okay. And a quick thing before we continue on. This is a thing that you guys have not seen yet. I don't believe so. But here we'll just do hashtag include. Okay, so now why don't we just include our Hangman? So now we're putting in the specific quotation marks because we want to specify that it's a file. Because the file, its name, it's a string, right? So yeah, we just want to call it like that, and it says there's an error because we didn't specify what kind of file. Right. Okay, now let's quickly define everything here. Let's say also string word placeholder. You guys are going to you guys maybe don't understand what I'm doing right now, but I'm going to explain it later in this video when we get to the point where we're going to use these variables. So we're a placeholder. Now we'll start to define our constructors and our function. So let's say Hangman. So always we call a constructor as Hangman. Right, Hangman, and then we don't want this. Actually, yes, we do want something. So you see, guys, we didn't define the strings here. So we'll do the same with this constructor. We'll just we'll not define it. Don't bother. Okay, so now in here, what will we say? We'll say string. Okay, you guys might be wondering, this is not possible. Well, we've not seen it, so it can be very tempting to say that it's not possible to put it in this way, but actually it is. It is. So here we're just saying, okay, whatever parameter we're going to put in here when we're going to be using it in our main.cpp. We didn't specify main.cpp, but I'm just saying from our example, whatever we'll put in here when we're going to use it in our main.cpp, our main file, where we put all that code which is going to run. After it's automatically defined as a string, the thing that we're going to be putting inside. So it's just good like that, so that we can define what it's going to be, right? Okay. What else? Now let's define a void run function. I'll just quickly give you guys a side-by-side difference of these two. Okay, so constructor is a function, but that can access private data, private information from the class where it's from. And in this case, it has the same name as this class of here, Hangman. So it has the private data from there. You might be wondering, what does that mean? Well, technically, all of this is private. And just for the sake of this video, just for this project, we won't want it to be a class, we want it to be a struct. But hold your horses. You might think that this is a completely different subject. Well, no. In the last video, I've explained, classes, I've explained that there's a slight difference of structs and classes. Look, classes are private, okay? So they're automatically private like this. We don't have to write this because it's automatic. But if we want it to be public, we have to write it in. Okay, so by default, it's automatically private, which means we can only access it inside our class. And it's always a good thing to be able to make everything private inside our class, everything which is necessary. So just for the sake of this video, let's call it a struct. This means that it's automatically by default public. And if we want it to be private, we have to see that it's private in this case, right? Okay. Now in the void run, we'll want to quickly put a char, because see, it's going to be putting our guess for the word, and it's going to be our word. Okay, perfect. Now let's create our final file, our last file. So just before we continue, what does .h mean? Well, if you think about it, what does h, what could h stand for? Well, header file. But what's exactly a header file? Well, as basic as it sounds, header. What do you hear in header? Head, headmaster, head director, head whatever. It's always head, which means highest, that grade boss. Well, in this case, in coding, a header file is where it's a boss of all of the information of our project. If you don't use a header file, well, it's really not good practice because you'd really easily get entangled in your huge project. So it's really good to put inside a header file. Okay, so now let's call this file. So before we do anything, let's say .cpp, and what should we call it? Well, Hangman again, because we're using Hangman. We're using this Hangman class. It's a single class, so we'll call it like that. You guys might be wondering, well, is it possible to have two CPPs? Well, of course it is. Why not? The only difference is that, okay, so look guys, here main.cpp, really there's no difference. I mean, there is one difference. Int main, you always have to put this in every single CPP. So the main one is really a special one. It's a special keyword. You can't change it. It doesn't change ever. And when we just make a new CPP, here is where we're going to be defining all of our code, right? Where we're going to be defining all of our code. And then we'll use that code in our main.cpp. Sounds simple enough? Why don't we get right started? Okay. Let's include our hangman.h. Hangman.h. Let's go down. And yeah, okay. So now we'll just want to say hangman. Oh shoot. And okay, perfect. You guys might be wondering, what am I doing right now? Well, okay, I'll explain. What might be wondering, what is this? What is that? Well, why do we have these two times, you might be wondering. Well, first of all, here we're saying, okay, from the hangman class, I want to reference hangman, which is quite conveniently enough the name of a constructor. So we're defining it like that. And by the way, guys, don't try to give any other names if you're trying to refer it to a constructor, or it'll give an error, because you can only say that's a constructor by putting in the name of your class. Okay, it's giving us an error. Why? Because we said that we'll have always a string inside our parameters. So what is going to be the name? HW, okay? That's HW, name of our type, string. Even though we already defined it, don't ask me. I'm not a creative C++. Okay, now in here we'll quickly want to say, so remember guys, we don't have to do any weird this and that and h dot hidden word like last time. We can just put whatever. We can just directly put it, because here we're defining our constructor. And remember guys, like I said, you can access private data when you have a constructor, private data within the class. And I get it, it's struct, it's public, but still, even if it's public, it will work the same way. Sorry. Anyways, equals HW. So this means whatever we're going to be putting inside the HW when we run the project is going to be equal to the hidden word from our main class. The reason why we do it that way is because it's much simpler and we don't have to write a bunch of extra code. And also, I tried to do that, but it will give us an error, right? And we don't want to get any errors, do we? Okay. For int I hidden word. Okay. Okay, so now inside the for loop, what do we want to do? We want to say word placeholder plus equal asterisk. Let's see, word placeholder. Oh guys, actually I think I forgot a very important thing in coding. If we go back to hangman.h, I forgot the most important part when using files. Hashtag pragma once. Okay, what does this do? What does this special pragma once do? Well, first of all, why do we do pragma once? You might actually, I already tested a program without pragma once. I already did this program many times. Without pragma once, I do not believe that it will give you an error. I'm not sure. Depends. Really depends. But it's really always a good thing to do this, even though maybe you can get away without using it. It's still really useful to use it, because it really just saves you some hassle, and sometimes it's just better to do it so that you know that it's done. So now let's get to what it actually does, right? Well, it lets us, only use this class, this class, don't know which one, but in our case, it doesn't matter, once. So when we're calling this file, we can only call it once on each, yeah, I think it's a file, yeah. So on, like here, we said, okay, include Hangman.h, include wait, one sec, guys. Oh shoot, wrong button. Anyway, oh shoot. Okay, sorry guys, that was the wrong button. Anyways, let's include, oh shoot, wrong button again. Include Hangman.h. Okay. Oh, I forgot, this is the wrong place to include it. I'm so stupid, we already did it. The files, they messed me up. Anyways, but there's another important thing that I forgot to show you guys. I know it's not erroring us, even though we need the IO stream to do this, but that's because we're calling it from the Hangman.h, we're including that too. And in there's also the IO stream. But still, it's really good, and it's really easy to, it's really good and an industry standard to do this, especially when you're working in groups, because after the person, teammate, is going to know what are you going to be needing in this file, what are you going to be using. So it's really good to do that, to specify it, even though you don't need it. Right, okay, we're almost done. We just have to go now to our last function, super quick. So again, the same drill. Can I spell? Can I? I knew that I can't spell at school. Anyway, okay, Hangman. Finally, thank you, Replit, for my spelling issues. Right, Hangman. But this time we won't say Hangman like last time. Guess what? We're not defining the constructor now. We already defined the constructor. Now we'll put that on the side. Now we want to define our run function. And one extra thing, void at the beginning. Okay, let's look at why do we do this. First, okay, run, where is it? It's in Hangman.h, in our Hangman struct /class, but tiny tiny difference about the public and private. Anyways, it's in this class, but one quick extra. We have void here, right? We do have void. We also have to put that in when we're trying to define the function. So anyways, what do we get? Enough talking. Why don't we get right started? Okay, now let's continue. Okay, it's erroring because we didn't put the, as you can see here, guys, we didn't put the char, the character variable. So let's say what is going to be, and let's put guess. And also, it's a very good idea to put header files. I just remembered, because it can really help you know what you're going to be using throughout your files, throughout your whole project. I'd recommend you guys to put all of your variables in here. Sometimes you might create variables here. Well, in our case, we didn't. But just to tell you guys, when you make big projects, you really want to put all of the variables that you're going to be using in there, so that you know exactly what you're going to be doing, and you know exactly, and you don't lose yourself, right? You don't lose yourself. That's a good thing. Right. Okay. So now let's go back to our main.cpp, and in here we'll write that code. Okay. We'll write that code. For int I equals 0, I less than hidden word dot length. Perfect. R++. Okay, what do we do here? Just to tell you guys, you might be wondering, well, hidden word is equal to nothing. Well, again, scopes. We're outside our constructors, so technically no. But that's a special thing about constructors and classes and all of that stuff. It's that, how do I say? It's that everything that you define is always saved. And if I were to define word placeholder here and I say, okay, do this with word placeholder, it would still know what to do and will still have data in it because it's all defined from the same class. So all of that data is stored, which is super good. And remember, guys, it's public. It's public. Another thing. Okay. So what do we do here? We said until we're done with the length of the hidden word, the amount of characters of the hidden word. Actually, no. Placeholder, word placeholder. Word place. Okay, word placeholder. Same thing. It'll give us the same answer anyways. But right. Okay. What do we need now? Oh yes, I forgot to tell you guys. It's not a very good practice, but just in my case, in this video, we are going to be doing this. In other videos, we won't. Exception. So today's video is an exception inside the constructors, inside of files, and inside a function. Sorry, we're going to be putting south and cn. Usually, as an industry standard, it would not be very good, but also a lot of industries do it. Depends. It really depends on how your manager or whoever you work for in any industry thinks about the way that you do the way that you. It's really just about personal preference and especially the preference of the company. So here, let's say, well, placeholder. Okay. Perfect. Okay, that is absolutely perfect. What did I want to say? What did I want to say? Okay, so now I'll say if I equal to guess word placeholder okay guys, yeah, so why don't we continue? Here I just realized it's not an error. I mean, it's just better to do this. We'll do it this way because it's much it's much better because at least we know what we're talking about for sure. At least we're sure about what we're talking about. What is the error here? Wait, let's see. I really don't know what's the error. Well, oh, sorry guys, now I remember because I've been thinking about the error and now I see what's the error. I'm so stupid. It's one equal sign because we're inside the if, we're not in the parameters. Oh my god, what am I thinking? Anyways, what am I gonna start it then? I mean, why don't we start ending, right? Anyways, let's go to main.cpp. Let's quickly say H, Hangman. H. No, let's just call it. Okay, so Hangman. We have to now do Hangman. H for short. Let's call it like that. Equal. Okay, so now we're just trying to give a variable to be able to be like a key to access all of the data from our class inside our Hangman.h. And we specified that we're trying to include all of the data from there. So it's going to use that kind of data. That data. Now we'll want to equal it to our Hangman constructor. So you guys think that I'm just saying it's equal to this. Well, there are 2 reasons why I'm doing this. First, 3 reasons. First, is I'm gonna error if I don't do this. Second of all, it's super good because we can do 2 things at the same time. First, say that we're making a variable which is a key, and at the same time when we're saying equal Hangman, the constructor, we're saying to run it, to make it run at the same time. Because we'd get an error if we did it any different way. So yeah. Okay, Hangman. Okay, and here we're going to put a hidden word. We could just make it random, but you know what, guys? That's going to be your guys' homework to make a random text generator from our random video, the video about random. You might want to rewatch that. Then, like as homework, you guys can make it random, right? I'm just showing a prototype, okay, guys? I'm just showing a prototype. There are many things that you can make better. I'm sure about that. Okay. Name of a string. You guys might be wondering why I've so many of these colors. Well, I just changed the theme. No big deal. You might be seeing different things than me. Well, I just changed the theme. In a video I mentioned about that, not specifically about it, but I just wanted to take a grasp about that at the same time while I was coding another video for you guys. Wow, that was a mouthful. Anyways, what's the name of a variable? Let's string apple. Okay, apple, and let's say h dot run. We don't know, I guess, so let's just put this, and here we'll put in let's say while, even though we might not want to put this directly, but I'm just planning for the future. Okay, perfect. Here we'll want to make a variable. I know, as I told you guys in this, sorry. Okay, in this video exceptionally we're going to be doing that, but really not a good idea to do it. Okay, now let's say string, no. Char. And just to make something clear, guys, when I was saying that we're going to be working on arrays, it's that actually you might be wondering, guys, on this project, what am I saying? Well, how do we say this? Well, usually we only say it with arrays, right? Well, no. In this case, when we're working with strings, when we're saying like we do in arrays, but when we do this with strings, well, guess what? The strings become arrays, except in every single except the arrays automatically decomposed. If you're putting in that way, it's automatically decomposed into separated characters, because a string is also an array of characters, and an array is also a pointer, which we're going to be talking about maybe in the next video. Anyways, back to the point. Main CPP char player guess. We'll want to put this outside of the while loop, like not like it matters or anything, but better. It looks better. What else? Okay, run player guess. And we didn't put any input. Yeah, we didn't say anything in there yet. Cout. What do we want to say again? Print out your guess. Put in your guess. Put in your guess. If that's even how you spell your.
A few moments later.
I finally found how to write your on the internet. Anyways, don't tell my teacher about this. Oh my god. Should be such ashamed. Anyways. Anyways. Endo. What else? Okay, put in your guess. Now we'll want to put in the scene. We want to, oh, wrong. We want to put in there like that because it's just, because if we put get line, then we'd have to write much more code to just say, okay, it's not possible. But if we put cn, at least it's gonna error and it's gonna crash the whole project. Which one's better? I'd say that, the second one. That it crashed the whole project. Anyways, so many anyways. Okay, perfect. Why don't we try? I believe the word's apple. Oh my, why does Apple have so many? What? I think that there's some yeah, definitely a problem with the code, but what's the error again? Oh guys, it turns out that it's actually a, oh, where is it? Wait, what? Okay, it's a char. Because we're trying to cycle through all of the characters. Now, what it should work. It should work. What is the error? Oh, didn't think about this too much, but I really don't think enough. Do I? Nope, I do not. I don't think so. I do not. Okay, this should hopefully work. And just an extra touch. Okay. Okay, it's successfully working. Let's put in our first guess. PP L A. What's the error? Well, first of all, it's printing in. Wait. Okay. I see the error. It should not be in here, should it? Shouldn't. I think it's that. Let's see. P L E. Oh, that's perfect. That's magnificent. Just for you guys to know, I'd highly recommend you to do as homework to try to make this a little bit nicer aesthetically. Put like a win, oh, not good, stuff like that. And most importantly, don't forget to put in random words in, so that you guys can challenge your friends and family and whoever you like to a game of Hangman, of a Hangman game, right? Yeah, so I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and yeah, see you next one.